Welcome into another edition of Arizona Football. Today, it's the 95th Territorial Cup game, Arizona and Arizona State this afternoon up in Tempe. I'm David Kelly, joined as always by Glenn Howell, U of A football class of 1985. And Glenn, when you look at these two teams, one stat that really stuck out to me this week was rushing touchdowns. Arizona State has 31, U of A just 6.
Well, I think that's what they're going to try to come out and do is pound the football. But if we can stop the run and make them pass, I just want to control Jaden Daniels on his feet, man, because a lot of those first downs that he was getting, I was looking at some stats that he was getting that by just running the ball, just getting out of the pocket and running the ball. If we can get him to beat us by passing, I'm all right with that, okay, because then I think it gives us a better chance getting some turnovers.
And when you look at this rivalry, Glenn, the 1 years in this century have been pretty good. The Wildcats won in Tempe in 2001. You'll remember Clarence Farmer stomped on the logo, and that caused a little bit of a ruckus between the two teams. And then 2011, when Bryson Burney came on in relief of an injured Nick Foles and got the late touchdown. So maybe some karma there to get that thing going, and the one wins continue.
On paper, they're supposed to cream us, okay? But Don Brown's leaving. I hope that defense is going to be inspired. I know every single one of those players love Don Brown, so we'd love to send him out. And that we have to be able to have that memory of that 70-7 on our minds. We have to understand that that is not something we can tolerate, and we got to take that to the game on Saturday.
All right, Glenn, you mentioned the 70-7, and so did Jed Fish in his press conference earlier this week when he said one of the things he remembers from watching that tape was that late 4th and 4 when the Sun Devils went for it. And you'll remember the quarterback at that time was our kid out of Marana, Trenton Bourget. I didn't take anything away from that at the time because, again, at that point in the game, you're playing your backups, you're playing your walk-ons, and you want to give those kids a chance to play in a normal setting. But, yeah, 63-7, and you're passing the ball. Clearly, that rubs some people the wrong way.
Well, Dave, let me just let you in on some 411, okay? Every guy that put the uniform on was pissed at that play, okay? And we will not forget that play. And the guys that are currently in the uniform should never forget that play. They should be taking that under advisement, bring it in with the underneath their hat, and understand that we got to be able to take that out on the field and be calm, be aggressive, be pissed, and also play with passion. That's what we have to do for this game. This game is a game that will last you the rest of your life.
And when you talk about the fact that we mentioned turnovers and how, in games like this, that's always going to be a factor. The Wildcats turned the ball over 7 times in last year's game, and they've had a propensity to turn the ball over in critical situations against the Sun Devils. And one of the things that worries me about this Sun Devil defense is their ability to intercept the football. And we've seen Will Plummer in the last few weeks be much better at taking care of the football. That's got to continue because this is a Sun Devil team that has 14 picks on the season to lead the Pac-12.
Well, I'll tell you what, if I'm Will, we ain't got no game next week. So let's run the ball. Let's run out of the pocket and get down. Learn how to slide. I hope you went over to the Hale and learned how to slide. But that's what he needs to do. Instead of throwing it up, get out of the pocket and get on the ground. I like to see Will use his feet more this game when the things are not going his way and the coverage is pretty solid. Get out of the pocket. Let's make them think that he can run the ball, and that's going to help our run game.
Glenn, you know a little bit about streaks in this series. You were part of the Wildcat streak in the 1980s. This is an ASU team that's on a little bit of a streak. They have a chance to win their 5th straight game in this series. What is the mindset like when you've got that type of run going against your rival?
Well, for us with Larry Smith, it was about not being cocky, but being confident and being like, we didn't make a lot of mistakes, okay? We didn't make a lot of mistakes. We were calm, collective. we knew we were going to win because we had a great game plan. We believed in the game plan and we executed the game plan. That's what we had to do. We got a couple breaks, and then when you have Max and Dejas on your team, that's going to be automatic against ASU, you feel a little bit better.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you look at and we've mentioned that this is your chance to write your name into lore, and you look back at guys like, again, Max Zendejas, who you talk about. I went back and I watched a little bit of that 2018 game where Josh Pollock had a chance to be that guy but couldn't make the kick. Now you've got to be that playmaker. Who's going to be that playmaker in a game like this to stand out? 2011, we mentioned a little bit earlier, Dron Kreiner, Bryson Burney comes off the bench, a backup quarterback. I believe they won in 2001, if I'm not mistaken, with Richard Kovacek, who might have been a backup quarterback as well. So, I mean, guys that have been able to come off the bench and make big plays in this game are always critical.
Well, I think one guy that's a starter is going to be a big factor is Orsendorf. I think that the punting game is going to have to be excellent today because we're going to have to play field position with them. We got to get them, make them do long drives if they have, and put them in bad field position. We have to be able to play the special teams game. We got to maybe even get a block today. That's something that we need to get after, the special teams. We ain't got nothing to lose. So we got to be able to put it all out. If I'm a player on that team, man, this is a game that you're just going to go out and have fun and let it loose. Let it loose. You're going to come into that stadium. The stadium's going to be packed a little bit. I don't know what the capacity is there now. I think it's like 58,000. You might get 50 grand there this weekend, and you should be excited.
In the years that you have been a part of this rivalry as both a player and an alum and an announcer, what's your number one performance? The number one takeaway guy that you thought, man, that to me is the most dynamic standout performance that I've ever seen in this rivalry. Do you have one?
I got to give it to Trunk Candidate, man. Trunk Candidate went for like 200 and something yards, I think it was. He was running on Sun Devils from the 70s. I mean, he was running on the backs of those guys. I mean, he ran for just unbelievable yards, and then the one of the biggest plays I thought was with James DeBow that on the goal line. That was just unbelievable what James DeBow did of stopping that play, because they could have went up on us on that play, and we stopped them right there at the goal line, and that was a game changer right there.
Yeah, to think that two of the most iconic plays when you talk about James DeBow and Chuck Cecil happened in the same game.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, it is the Wildcats and it is the Arizona State Sun Devils, the 95th playing of the Territorial Cup game this afternoon in Tempe. Glenn and I will have a reset, not Sunday night this week due to the fact that I'm off on Sunday night, but we will reset and talk about the Territorial Cup and look ahead to 2022 on Monday night. So join us then.